as realtors, the comparative analysis is just a really quick, easy way. It's what we do all the time. We look at comps and we determine our price based on that. But if you want to get into the nitty-gritty and you have more details about the subject property, then that's where this is a more detailed view, and it is a lot closer to what home appraisers use. So first we start by confirming some facts. Let's say there's something here that you need to change. Let's say there was something that is not on here or something that has been edited, like the addition of a pool. Okay, that is not on here because it was added. Okay, the view, again, it's beneficial because they can see out into the entire city, and that's not something. Anything that you feel that will make a difference, you can. They added a porch or a patio. Okay, so you can confirm those facts and close. Okay, updated that. Now we find the comps. Now this is very, very similar to everything else that we use. So in this case, let's go 6 months and let's do a search. And again, we're just for the sake of time, we're going to add these in.
Question?
Yes.
How are you? If I'm not mistaken,
Good.
in the beginning, when you did the pool, when you did the kitchen, it was $55K, and value went up about 1490,
14,000, yes.
So this is also a great tool to use in front of the customer and say you want to build an extra room, 74,000. It'll add about 18,000 or 20,000 on it, right?
Absolutely, and that's just part of pulling up the property. And you know what? Let me go back to the property search. Yeah, so if you have a client that's looking to add, you said add a room.
Well, modify it, whether it be I want to add a pool, I want to renew the kitchen, I want to add a whatever. Looking at the cost, they should give them the new expected
Absolutely.
value, if you will.
And yeah, so that was like I said, that was one that I did. Let's say let's hey, I'm looking at replacing the roof. Should I do the should I replace the roof or should I just lower the price? Well, we can go here and go, well, what's the roof going to cost you? Okay, roof's going to cost me like $25,000-$30,000 depending on in this single story, it should be about 25K. Add improvement. It's a decent amount of money, or do I just lower the price, 15,000? Just save the client $10,000 by lowering the price 15,000, because that's what they're going to get from an improvement standpoint. If it's not needed, obviously there's roof leaks, then absolutely. But a little bit more bang for your buck on a roof replacement, and so you can show them that, hey, where is my money best spent?
Got it. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Okay, so again, now here's where it gets really granular. This is for people that know their ins and outs. They want to start making adjustments. They want to, they know that the view of these three houses, if you're really, really familiar with these properties, with the area, this is right in your own backyard. You can really start playing with these and start putting, well, yeah, but I know that this one is in disrepair. And you can use this to also, let's see, let's go back to edit the comps. You can get really, really specific on here, and investment, fixer-upper, you can start adding those keywords and it'll start narrowing it down. So if you're in an area where there's a ton of comps and you want to get pretty specific, you can on here. Okay. And then when you remove comps, you can see what happens if you remove certain comps, add certain comps, and you can see what that will do to the price. Weighted adjustments, like I said, we're just going to leave those just because I don't know specifically on any of these. So, okay. And then from there, you go to create report. And you've got, in this case, it's just a valuation workbook. You can view it, you can customize it, you can remove some pages, add some pages. But in this case, you can personalize it and email it. And I just hit right now, open or download a PDF. And so that's going to open up right here. And it is branded. I didn't do anything. That's just part of when you sign up for RPR, you put your information in there, and it does get all of your information on here. And it's just a really easy way to quantify why. What is it that, that's causing these things? Why are you getting certain prices? Has historical photos on there, just like many CMAs do. For those of you that are interested in learning about MoxieWorks, which is, this is for that super analytical person. If you want just a quick, easy way to do a branded one with the seller net sheet already included, I'll be hosting that training next week, same time as today. So just a shameless plug there for my training next week. Anyway, a ton of really, really good information that doesn't come in most CMAs. So this is for that person that wants to see the numbers. They don't want to take your word for it. They want to see facts, figures. A ton of good data. And if you feel that there's anything on here that you're like, I don't want every single one of these, you can go back, edit, and remove those. So I was actually able to put in concessions that were done when, if the sale closed and there was a concession, you could put that, and that will actually impact the valuation of the property. So any information that you know above and beyond what's just in the MLS, this is great for that. Doesn't happen too often, but sometimes certain neighborhoods are doing certain things that will impact the valuation. Any questions on creating a CMA within RPR? Okay, so these are the types of this is the type of information that I was talking about, where you can get really, really granular for marketing. A few people were talking about that earlier. So if you're not on RPR, if for nothing else, jump on to start getting this type of information. It really, really gives you some good info, and you could actually create a script. If you've got a farm that you're working, I want mine to be super professional, or you know what, mine's just going to be a little bit friendly, very casual. It's a beach community, whatever. I can analyze metrics. So if nothing else, I know we're talking about a CMA here, but you can get a ton of information just off of this, and you can copy the text, export it, and have some talking points. Anyway, a little bit ahead of schedule, and I wanted to leave enough time for any questions.
Hey,
But that's
Eddie,
that's pretty. Yes,
remind them too that there is a mobile app, which is what I use most of the time, which is great.
yes. You
You're
can create a
standing in line at
CMA.
the market and someone sees your name badge, wants to know what their house is worth. You can capture all that great information by this mobile
What
app.
Absolutely,
what's that
absolutely. And
mobile
My
app?
attention.
it's RPR mobile. Yes, and you can create a CMA on the go. It's pretty. It's actually pretty neat. You can look up all the property details. Again, it's a lot like the title. For any of those that went to my title toolkit, one of the things that we talked about was the mobile app. Ton of resources out there. If you want to create a purchase, um, you can get PITI on like the title, uh, um, the All Cal Title app. Stuff like that is available. Same thing with the RPR. You can find valuations right away. This house that we're looking at and we're about to write an offer. Well, are we going to write an offer on just that value, or am I going to do my due diligence and make sure that that client is not overpaying? And sometimes in the heat of it, you might be out in the field and you need to know some of this information right away. It's at the touch of a button on the mobile app.
Question for maybe Jackie, I'm not sure. On the mobile app, it's asking me for my email and password. It's not our MLS user
So
ID
it's
stuff.
It's
no,
your
it's the
MLS.
same. It's the same user information that you have on here. So when you set up your RPR account, it's that same email address because you use an email address and password when setting up your RPR account. Oh
Any
yeah, looks like they just
is
have.
there anything else on RPR? Like any other kind of cool, neat little things that you can do there?
I'll be honest. I've used it before. You can get market trend information. Make yourself sound like an expert in a very local or broader area. Let's say it's an area that you're not too familiar with, but you're gonna do business out of there. I'm familiar with Hemet. I've done business in Hemet before, but let's say a few cities over, or San Jacinto, kind of on the outskirts of Hemet. I want to learn more about that. I mean, how much different is it from Hemet? This is a great way to make myself an expert. And let's say I'm trying to break into a higher price point. Let's say I'm mainly Murrieta Menifee, but I want to get into Temecula wine country. This is a way for me to get to become an expert and start understanding. It's kind of like previewing property, right? You want to become an expert in that area so that you can walk into a house and go, yeah, no, this is not worth that amount that it's listed for. So that's what it will do. And again, I think the marketing piece was the two really kind of big ones. I'm limited to what I know as far as RPR, but let's see here. Yeah, mailing labels and whatnot. So it's like the MLS and title apps merged together because this is a lot of what title apps do for you as well.
So let's say I'm door knocking and I'm door knocking an area and I happen to come across someone that wants some information about their house, about the area. I could pull up my RPR report, put in their home address, and essentially within minutes be like, boom, here's a report on your house, the
Hmm.
trends,
Yep,
everything specific to your property.
absolutely. And
And
and that's right. It's right here.
it's branded to me.
Right, right.
That's pretty cool. Like on
Yeah.
the spot. Like if so it's the way I think of that is, we want to try to get away from the I'll get back to yous.
Yes.
Right. So, what's you know what? Let me go to my office. Let me pull some information, and I'll get back to you with that report or something like that. It's like, oh, you're interested? Great. Boom, boom, boom. While we're standing here, or hey, while I have you on the phone, don't hang up. While I have you on the phone, let me pull this up. I'm going to email it over to you. I want to make sure you got it before we hang up. So it's like being able like that when you're prospecting. I mean, how cool is that to a potential client? They said they wanted some information on the market, and before they closed the door, before they hung up the phone, they had this really great report for their property that showed all this information. That's pretty powerful, I think.
Well, and to your point, I'm going to wait for the REO market to come back. Here in Menifee, yeah. Well, one house in pre-foreclosure, two in foreclosure. You're going to be waiting a while.
Yeah, you better be really good at closing, because that's only you're gonna have to get 2 out of 2.
Well, and yeah. So anytime a buyer says, "Hey, look, I'm waiting for the market to crash," it's like, does this look like a market that's in distress?
That's great.
Now, are there distressed properties? A few, but I mean, nothing compared to just the amount of just active listings, you know, in the area. So absolutely, yeah, it makes you a market expert by just inputting the information on here. Just one address is all you need.
So, I wonder, I mean, how much time did that take? Like if I wanted to do one for a property, how much time would
Give
you
me the
say it would
address.
take for me to do that? Because I know you just kind of you went slow to kind of walk through it, but if I got pretty knowledgeable about this, how long do you think it would take me to put one of these together?
Give me does anybody have an address they want to shoot my way?
Well,
I mean, this
yeah.
is the one that I had, and I mean, literally,
There you go. Let's
this I'd
look
have
at
to
here.
go in.
We'll do the most recent email that you and I got.
Okay,
1750 Almond Tree Street.
okay, and Hemet.
Yep.
Okay, so there it is. It's new, active, for sale. We could easily go in, create a seller's net, a CMA, refine the value based on information you and I know. Based on that, the RVM did actually see a down adjustment on it. Again, if we want to just create a market trend report, we can do that. We can create a script and email this to somebody, like you said, very friendly, casual. And AI does it. I do nothing. I can edit it. Hey there, Steven, right? But I mean,
So here's so you just did all of that, and that, I mean, you did it in seconds. So, I mean,
yeah,
you could essentially put together something like this and email it over to somebody in about a minute.
copy paste,
Okay.
export to, yeah, send by
So,
email.
so if you had 300 people in your database and you did this every quarter where you sent everyone in your database an RPR report, I mean, that's so 4 times a year they would get one of these reports. I mean, 300 minutes is 5 hours. I don't know. So
I
5 hours every 3 months. So, about 2 hours a month of putting this together, and 300 people in your database would get this 4 times a year. I think that's a pretty good email to send out to your database,
absolutely. And
and
especially if you're
it's not that much time.
right.
This
Well, I was
could
going to say,
be
if
this
you're
could be
working, you're sorry. Go ahead.
this could be auto-populated every first of the month, January, April, July, November. I mean October.
I don't know that there's an auto-populated ability to this, but I mean, it does populate the script for you. And literally, I mean, you can keep it to neighborhoods. And so again, depending on your CRM and how well you've labeled your people, you could easily have, Hemet buyers, Long Beach prospects. You can easily create one report based on a zip code and send out market trend information on that. I mean, that's
Eddie,
yes.
it's Emma. So once you create a report, you have to download it to your desktop and then upload it to YLobo, but that's the CRM, not the CRM, not a YLobo, the follow up box, and then send the report that way, correct?
That is one way to do it, but okay, so I'm gonna do a report for Wildemar because I have, let's just say I have quite a big database in Wildemar because that's where I farm a lot. So from here, I could just there's a really bad echo. I can't. So I could email it away. I could do a valuation. Let me see. I could put it in here and it'll email it out from here directly to one individual, but you can just download or open a PDF report and then copy and paste it into your CRM and have it emailed out that way.
Correct. Okay. Can you build the database under RPA?
The database, no, the RPR does not. It's not a it's not a CRM.
Okay. Thank you.
You would literally just get this stuff to get you guys the information.
All right. Thank you. Very informative.
I mean, you could use this to add people to your database too. Like if you were prospecting and they weren't interested in buying, they didn't know anyone selling, they didn't know anyone, you could say, hey, one of the things I do for other people in the area is keep them updated every couple months. Would you mind if I do the same thing for you? Even if they said no to that, you could say, okay, well, look, how about at least once a quarter, I send out a report to everyone in my database on what's going on in the market, the trends. It's a really full detailed report. Would you like me to add you to that? Yeah, I definitely want that. Okay, cool. Like now it's a way to add people to your database as well because they want this report, or even bring a copy of it while you're door knocking. Say, hey, this is stuff that I send to my database. I'm curious, do you want to being added to my database so you get these reports too? Otherwise, your neighbor knows more than you do. Nobody likes that.
Good point. Good point.
Nobody likes being left out. I don't know, man. I think there's just a lot of stuff you could do with this type of stuff.
Yeah.
Is this RPR? Is this in our MLS?
Yep. It's if you, I don't know if you're part of CRMLS, but it's under links, and I know Paragon has the same thing. It just, if you go to links, that's where all of the other stuff is, right? All the stuff we just ignore. And mine just happens to be right here. Realtor Property Resource. Look for this little logo. And then that'll take you to RPR, where if you haven't created an account, create an account. But to Emma's point, this create the script. You can do a social campaign. Okay, you can choose your audience. First-time home buyers. Again, friendly social media campaign. AI is now generating that. And from there, you can literally copy the text, send it by email. And it gives you a bunch of different options. So I'm going to put this in a social media campaign with a nice picture, have the marketing team help you. I mean, good news for first-time home buyers. I'm not even thinking at this point. I'm clicking buttons and it's thinking for me. Obviously, proofread, please make sure there's no errors in there. But it's just basic information to just, I don't know what to talk about today. Here you go.
So does this AI speak Mandarin, traditional Chinese, and Spanish?
Great question. It does not, however, Google Translate does.
Ah, I know.
Well, no, so let's look at that.
ChatGPT does.
Boom. There you go. Copy paste.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Anyway. Any other questions?
I like that.
Again, you want a little bit simpler CMA? Join me on Tuesday of next week for the MoxieWorks one. It's you're paying for that one too. So, but it's really good because I mean, literally, you can create one, you can comp it, you can do a lot of the stuff that you can do here. Less detail, a little bit more flavorful, a little bit prettier looking on MoxieWorks, and I'm going to be going over that as well as a couple other things. It's not just the CMA. A lot of people aren't taking advantage of the website, and there's a lot of agents paying for websites. Top producing agents that are like, dude, I'm paying $400 a month, and we've got them to save that money. So anyway, shameless plug for next week.
Thank you so much. Very informative.
All righty, Robert, I